Last finance item 34.
Item 34F1, resolution. A resolution of the Newark Public Schools to designate capital reserves for New Jersey Department of Education, ROF, allocation on multiple projects.
Move it.
Lewis.
Second.
Okay,
Is that
Mr.
Hassan?
Lewis and Mr. Hassan.
Finance item 34, Lewis Hassan, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That carries. That's the end of the finance items.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes, Mr. Hassan.
I want to apologize to Mr. Kinney for the exchange that took place earlier. Mr. Kinney, I wasn't, in my statement, I wasn't trying to influence you to not vote on those items separately, but I brought up the fact that we had this information in our packet so that if there were any additional questions, we could go and get to the heart of them right here and not delay or push the item back for a vote if we already had the information right here and we could have discussed it between each other. So I do apologize to you for that exchange in a way that I may have come off in bringing up that information to you. So I do apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. We will now move to the public participation section of our meeting.
Good evening. This is the public participation portion of the meeting. As a reminder, time limits for all speakers are enforced. There is no sharing or granting of speaking time to others. Speakers must be present when their name is called. All speakers are required to give names and addresses. The public participation portion of the meeting will be limited to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Examples of unaccepted behavior that will not be permitted include but are not limited to naming district employees and engaging in personal attacks, slurs, excessive loudness, calling out, yelling, generally disruptive behavior, attempting to disrupt the meeting, or inciting others to do so. Public participation at meetings is intended to allow individual members of the public the opportunity to address the board and the administration on issues of public concern, not as a forum for two-way dialogue with the board or district officials. The superintendent, designee, or chair may respond to questions either at the end of the session or responses may be provided at a later time. The superintendent, designee, or chair may interrupt any speaker or terminate any individual's speaking privilege if the speaker's comments are disruptive or obscene. An individual may be cautioned that a personally directed statement may be slanderous or defaming, and the individual may be liable for his or her comments. Attempts to hijack or filibuster the proceeding, repeated interrupting or badgering the board members or district officials, repetitive truculent speech, or disregard of the rules of decorum will not be tolerated and may subject the individual to removal from the meeting. If necessary, the meeting may be adjourned.
Thank you. And just for clarity, if there's anyone here who is speaking this evening who has not spoken at one of our board meetings before, you will hear 2 bells. The first bell rings after 2 minutes and means that you have 1 minute, 1 minute remaining. And the second bell means that your time is up. Our first speaker, Jordan Roper.
Greetings, everyone. Superintendent Anderson and advisory board members. My name is Jordan Roper. I attend Alexander Street School's 6th grade class. Today, I'm here to talk to you about Alexander Street School rules. One of the rules is 100% compliance. The teachers feel as though if 1 or 2 people are talking in the classroom, they don't have to teach. They make us sit with our hands folded for 50 minutes while they use their cell phones, talking, texting, and emailing. They are using this rule because they don't want to teach us, and they find every excuse to apply this rule. Would they like this rule to apply to their paychecks? If one teacher was evaluated non-effective and nobody gets paid because of that one teacher evaluation, it's not fair to those teachers, nor is it fair to my fellow students and me. My second problem is the teachers don't allow us to go to the bathroom. They tell us to sit there and hold it. I think this is not fair. I talked to my father about it, and he told me, go if I have to go, and report back to class or the principal's office. One of my teachers even wrote me up and told my principal I had to call my father and told him I just walked out the class, which was not the case. She knows she take bathroom privileges away so she can punish us, which again is not fair. Finally, we have teachers that is not able to control their class. Students are throwing airplanes, they're throwing pencils, pens, and they play fighting. This goes on daily in most of my classrooms. Our principal talked to us about instructional time. I don't see it unless 10 or 15 minutes is considered quality instructional time. I would appreciate if superintendent can investigate my concerns to make it easier for those who want to come to school and learn without all these things, all these distractions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Khadija Bati. Dante Sharon.
Hello, my name is Dante Sharon, and I'm a freshman attending University High School. I work with YMS, which is a youth group that focuses on education, equality, and fairness for Newark schools. Today, YMS is here to gain support for the Our Schools, Our Vision campaign. Our campaign has 5 points: adequate budget for all, excellent facilities, excellent teachers, staff, and administration, college and career curriculum, and parent, student, and community as partners in the decision-making process. Franklin D. Roosevelt said, "It isn't sufficient just to want. You've got to ask yourself, what are you going to do with the things what are you going to do to get the things you want?" So we are asking for your support for the National Day of Support for Newark students tomorrow by liking the campaign page, sharing it, and posting your support onto our page. Now, many of you may sit here and say that just us agreeing on a vision won't do anything. Believe it or not, it can. It's called popular sovereignty. It's a law in our Constitution and our amendment, and the fact states that the people have more political power than anyone in the country. Also, in our covenant of educational and cultural rights, in Article 26, it clearly states that any student deserves an adequate education. And due to these budget cuts, we are not receiving that adequate education. We can agree that Newark needs new school facilities. Newark has some of the oldest schools in the country. 67 of them are on the list of repairs or complete overhauls, and most of them have been left untouched. These facilities are outdated and need immediate attention. We can agree that all schools must have highly qualified and effective educators, administrators, and staff at an appropriate student and staff ratios. In addition, our educators, administrators, and staff must have high expectations and be provided with resources, training, and support needed to be effective and keep all students engaged and learning. Budget cuts are resulting in less and less highly qualified adults in our buildings who are needed to serve students. Newark also has educators without placement pool of teachers not teaching, costing millions a year. The students believe there has to be a better way, especially when we see so many needs in our building that these teachers can fill. We have to agree to fight for fully funded schools. In fact, we can't fund our staff so much that now we have to drop curricular subjects like art and music. And when kids ask what happened to art and music, what do they say? "Sorry, kid." When students ask what happened to the one person in the building who cared about them, what do they say? "Budget cuts." "Sorry, kid." How can the talented youth survive, we all ask. And what do they say? "Sorry, kid." We are all at a loss here, don't you agree? No music, art, or law, and eventually no sports. And what would they say? "Sorry, kid." We are determined to see this campaign through to the end. Our vision matters just as much as anyone else's. We look forward to meeting with the district and having our ideas not only heard, but implemented.
Thank you, Mr. Sharon. Mo Melendez.
All right. Good evening. My name is Ramon Melendez.
Good evening.
My address is 24 Eagle Street. You can knock on my door anytime. Good evening. My name is Ramon Melendez. I am a junior attending Newark Public Schools. I am also an advocate for the Youth Media Symposium for 4 years. YMS has a new campaign that we are launching, which is called Our Schools, Our Vision, and it has the 5 key components: adequate budget, excellent facilities, excellent teachers, staff, and administration, college, career, curriculum for all, parent, student, and community as partners. But I'm here to talk about our second point, which is excellent facilities for all. Newark has some of the oldest schools in the country. 67 of them are on the list for repairs and complete overhauls, and most have them been left untouched. These facilities are outdated and need immediate attention. A few of these buildings have been sold to charters, and while their children deserve nice facilities, so do the Newark Public School students. How do you expect a student to learn in a building where it's either falling apart, has mold in the walls, bugs crawling on the walls and floors, and expects us not to notice? I have a question for the board. How would you like if you were in one of these facilities where you sit in a classroom and out of nowhere drips of water down from the ceiling wets you and your work that you're working on? Would you like it if I told you that bugs are festering around the building? Overall, my question is to you is, do you think it's fair or even right to have kids in these buildings? We will be the voice advocating for school construction to start again. I visited downtown often and see the Teachers Village coming up. I asked if this one Newark, how come not one public school was invited to be a part of the village? Why was 18th Ave sold and not set to be rebuilt with bonds when it was on the School Development Authority list to be rebuilt for Newark? Why isn't the superintendent making some noise about this? Why is Arts High School being held up by outside supports? Does something have to fall on a child for the emergency to be taken seriously? If you won't, we will. Please support our campaign on the National Day of Support for North Students tomorrow, October 23rd. And yes, I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Joseph Del Grasso, President, Newark Teachers Union.
How are these two? Same? Nothing stood out? Did she speak? Did his daughter speak? Yeah? What's the issue?
I haven't seen you in a while.
Maybe that was part of the text.
No. Good evening,
Good evening.
members of the advisory board. Newark Public Schools. Good people of Newark. What do you do with a tenant that's ruining your house? You evict them. Our schools belong to the people of Newark, and they are the landlord. And I say it's time for eviction, because enough is enough. This administration strives to make our schools worse. They do nothing to help the people or the children in our schools. After you lay off aides, clerks, attendance counselors, community aides, supervisors, administrators, and teachers, you hire your friends at big salaries with a big sign that says, "No experience necessary." Then you ask the members of my union to go out into the community and spy on our parents and our community. I have an answer to that. We will not accept your 30 pieces of silver. Our guidance counselors and social workers need to be in schools, serving the students, just like in the white school districts. You continue to punish the employees. The comment with inept leadership and failed programs. You live safely in your I world, simply caring about yourself, captivated by the I world, the iPad, the iPod, the iMacs, and your favorite iTunes. It's all about me. You reject the advice of the educational community and continue to rape and plunder this city. You'd rather punish the people who speak out against you, but yet your lack of legal knowledge, your foolish spending on cases which can be spent on the schools that have no supplies, books, desks, okay? You're dwelling in a house of glass, yet you are foolish enough to throw stones at your neighbors who pass by. These failures need to be brought to light, and the time to bring them is now. The I world must go, and the we world must come. And come we will. The end is near.
Thank you. Next speaker, Christine Taylor, President, CASA Local 20.
Good evening. I'm Tina Taylor, President of CASA, which represents principals, vice principals, innovation officers, and heads of athletics. We also represented directors, supervisors, and department chair positions that were abolished because of the district's claim of, quote, significant budget challenges. However, as this budget shortfall approached, nearly 150 paid consultants have served or are serving. CASA obtained this information through OPRA, the Open Public Records Act. Many of these people are classified as contingent workers. CASA requested the job description for contingent workers and the amounts paid to these individuals. We were informed that the district does not have that job description as required by law, and we were also told for about 100 of those consultants, payment records were not maintained and do not exist. How can that be possible? CASA has asked the state to investigate this. Further, despite the, quote, budget shortfall, the district recently posted over 100 job announcements, including a huge number of director, manager, and assistant titles. Where is this money coming from? The abolishment of CASA titles is already having an impact. As a new math curriculum is implemented, there are no district-based professionals, such as directors or supervisors, to provide assistance and expertise to the elementary schools. This will be repeated in all subjects in every school throughout the year. Lastly, and this was not what I had planned on talking about, but I would be remiss if I didn't address recent statements that Superintendent Anderson made at a PLI in response to a question about the lack of a contract for CASA. The superintendent stated that CASA is unwilling to negotiate. This is false. Breaking the rules, the district introduced a new set of proposals intended to discard our existing contract and replace it with the document created solely by the district. This violation is being reviewed by the Public Employees Relations Committee. The only matter to be resolved for the past 4 years is the salary of CASA members. CASA has, over a period of many months, asked the superintendent to negotiate that issue. She has consistently refused. In summary, CASA is willing to negotiate what is negotiable. And we will do so while waiting for an official resolution to a legitimate dispute. CASA, our colleagues, and our community are under attack, and we will never, ever yield.
Next speaker, Annette Alston.
Annette Alston, Newark Public School teacher. Just writing you is an act of courage on my part. I'm fearful for my job, but I know in my heart what is happening is not in the best interest of my personal development in my chosen profession, and it's hurting my students. The NJEA convention is one of the tools that I use to help me become a better teacher. Why should I and others be denied this access when it has been provided to us by state law? This was a statement by one of the teachers in Newark Public Schools, and it's echoed throughout the district. I have been teaching for 27 years, and I have never seen in this utterly disgraceful behavior of upper administration in regard to professional development. The NJEA convention is the largest gathering of educators in the world. I cannot tell you how much I have received from attending the workshops, finding phenomenal resources and ideas for my classroom. When I return to my classroom after the NJEA convention experience, my students benefit. We all do care about our children. That's why when opportunities like this convention come around, it seems to me that you, superintendent, would do everything you could to encourage everyone to go. So, why instead are educators being assaulted with intimidation and harassment tactics? Strategies have been employed, obviously been orchestrated to deter participation. On September 4th, I made it a point to find out exactly what the application NPS wanted us to file to attend the convention. I had in fact filed initially the wrong one. I and 15 other teachers were told that we had to use another form that was explicitly for the convention. Okay, so we did the form, redid it, and resubmitted it on September 5th. We were told that we had, no, I think your timing is really wrong. We had to submit a copy of the registration card if we were driving. Fine, we did that. Our papers were told we now need a justification form for travel to attend the conference packet. The packet included the same travel form that we had previously submitted, but now they need a copy of our driver's insurance card and another form with more questions on it. After doing all of this, last Friday, I thought it was a joke, but no, you all decided to change the form again in the hopes that people would just say they aren't going. You know what? 3 teachers did decide they weren't going. I guess you should clap because that's what you wanted, right? Forget it. Too much work. That's what you wanted. You've got people in fear that if they go, it's going to impact them negatively on their evaluations. Some where misinformed principals have even told people they couldn't go. Threats about privatization are thrown about. Information about, what is it? Having to use personal
Ms.
dates.
Austin, please finish your thought. We do hear
It
you.
wasn't
so please
3
finish
minutes,
your thought.
Antoinette. I timed this myself. It was not 3 minutes. Your timer is off. How can you go?
Excuse me, may we have order, please?
And improvement that you would even consider keeping schools
Ms.
open
Austin,
on those days.
your time is up. We do hear your
I don't
point
believe
very
my time
clearly.
is up, but I don't believe my time is up. You have enough money to spend
Ms. Austin,
on court cases
Ms.
to deal
Austin,
with this,
your
because that's
time
what
is
this
up.
is going to be. Whose only purpose is to push the Christie agenda. I'm going. And you know what?
next speaker, Roberta Singletary. Roberta Singletary.
Excuse me, ma'am. This is your first verbal warning.
We have a number of people who have signed up to speak. If we do not have order in the auditorium, then those people who signed up to speak will not have that opportunity. Roberta Singletary.
Mr. Harris?
Next speaker, Van Ness Roper.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr.
Advisory
Roper.
Board, Minister Roper. I'm here today to bring up some issues, and I'm going to say some words of taboo that most parents and administrators, even superintendents or assistant superintendents don't want to talk about. One of them is parental involvement. I hear teachers saying they want change and don't like the way they're being treated, but until parents are partners, this will continue. This will continue. And the other word of taboo that I'm going to talk about is cheating. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. Listen, it's like having a girlfriend that cheats on you, but you can't forgive that girlfriend unless she admits she cheated. Now, what Minister Roper is saying, and I'm saying this to you teachers, and I'm talking directly to you. We have children that are 2 and 3 grades behind that scored proficient, advanced proficient, and scored perfect scores. Now they're in high school and are dysfunctional and have been cast away. Someone did that, and someone perpetrated a fraud on this district, and no one cares about those babies. No one's speaking up for the damage that has been done for lying principals, for lying teachers, and our children have been educationally assaulted, and you people come up here talking about your trip that you didn't go on, and we're dealing with kids that can't read in 3 and 4 grade levels behind it, that you lied and you gave them the answer to the test on the NJI, and now our kids can't perform and can't go to college and get a job, but we're worrying about some trips. You are tripping. Tell it to your mama.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
The
I'm
bottom
going to have to
line
ask
is-
that you leave the auditorium.
The bottom
That
line
is
is that I
inappropriate
don't have to
language.
sell out. I don't have to sell out my dreams. I'm coming here to tell the truth. The bottom line is I didn't make deals to get my children to certain places. So I'm going to call it the way I see it. The bottom line is it's about the kids. It's not about paychecks. It's not, listen, our kids have been pushed aside long enough. Long enough. And people, listen, I know plenty of directors and teachers who have been around too long. And I didn't say I support Canby Anderson or anyone else. I've never told anyone I support anybody. I support the kids, which is no longer, this seems to be no longer about children getting a better education. It's about where the money's at. And then we have some parents, and listen, the bottom line, and I'm telling you this now, we can't reclaim this district until parents are partners, not cast aside outside buildings. You teachers want your jobs, you want your schools to be safe. Listen, and I'm going to finish this up. When we have parent involvement and parent partnerships, schools will stop closing. Teachers invite the parents to the table, and we can get something done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roper. Next speaker, Patricia Noon. Next, I'm sorry. Is she present? Okay.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Superintendent Candy Emerson and advisory board members. My name is Patricia Noon Roper. I am a parent at Alexander Street School. I'm here today to talk about some complaints I have with Alexander Street School. My first issue is on September the 25th and the 26th. My son was not served breakfast or lunch because he was told by his 3rd grade teacher and staff that he was not enrolled in the breakfast and lunch program. I placed a phone call to food services and they told me that both of my sons were approved. I would like to know why the teacher social worker, and the cafeteria worker was allowed to do this to my son, my 8-year-old son, who is on medication. My second issue is dealing with my 8-year-old son's teacher, who doesn't understand INRS/504 meetings. The teacher refused to provide documentation that did not know what an IRNS/504 meeting was. The teacher also stated that he didn't have to send my son to the nurse if he thought he wasn't medicated. The teacher stated it wasn't his problem and walked out the meeting rudely. I consider this unprofessional and disrespectful, but the principal seemed to condone this type of behavior from her staff. My third issue is the principal, teacher, and staff babysitting their children in the school during their work days while parents are waiting for conferences and help. They are attending to their children while making us wait. So are you trying to tell me that there are no more daycares or relatives who can watch their kids? We also have adult volunteers in our buildings who have not been cleared by the district, while parents are being told we must notify the principal ahead of time before coming into the building. The parents also must be given a course in visitor protocol by the principal before coming into observe our children in the classroom. Unbelievable. In my conclusion, one of my sons took the New Jersey AS test last year and was proficient in both math and literacy. This school year, he was given the SRI test and was 2 grades behind in math. What's wrong with this picture? Is Alexander Street School cheating on New Jersey AS test, which has hurt my son and others? I'm asking the district and the state to investigate my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Lauren Williams. Next speaker, Veronica Williamson. Donald Jackson.
Donald Jackson, 79 Tracy Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, 07108. Before I begin, I just want to make a statement. We got to show support to the students, in particular who come up to this mic and discuss unpopular issues and discuss their issues that they're going through in their schools, because believe me, it isn't easy to talk to this board and then have to go back to school because certain people in the building don't feel the same way you do. Whether it be wrong or right, I think the student can tell their experience firsthand, so no one should judge. And with that being said, I'm going to move on with what I have to talk about tonight. A few things. Again, as I'm always coming to the mic, I got to add to my speech. For one, I don't know if we all aware, but there were a few incidents tonight around our city where unfortunately we occurred yet again 2 more homicides. And I'm not sure about the other 2, so I'm not going to classify it as homicides. Yeah, don't, come on. To all my real Norkers in the room, we live this day in and day out, and unfortunately, we need to relay this message throughout the district that it's time for our kids, because these are our kids in our school systems that are dying. We need to put down the guns and pick up a book. And unfortunately, this new plan that has been rolled out by the school officials, is trying to destroy education in this city. And I want to talk to a point about our facilities that are left open overnight. As we all know, we just paid out a lawsuit to an incident that happened a few years back where students were harmed on this Newark Public Schools facility. And I'm guessing this district has yet to learn their lesson and they leave these school facilities open at night. I've witnessed particularly 3 schools in the South Ward. And Ms. Baskerville-Richardson, one night we actually pulled up to a scene, not at that particular location. I'm not sure if that's a board-owned property. However, Hawthorne Avenue School is a board-owned property, and that gate is open every night. I drive by, and there's always crowds in that parking lot. That issue needs to be taken care of. I just want to piggyback on some issues that were brought up by some union persons. In fact, I believe the lady said that she sent a request to the state to investigate what was going on with these job positions. Ma'am, I just want to let you know so you don't waste your time. The state knows exactly what's going on in this district. Chris Christie, Mr. Surf have allowed Miss Anderson to break every last rule there is in the book in Newark Public Schools, okay? Miss Anderson, along with Mr. Surf and Mr. Christie, you all should be held responsible for the destruction of Newark Public School System, and you all should be charged because it is criminal how you treat these parents, how you treat these students, and how you treat these teachers, okay? I know for a fact, when I walk into school buildings, teachers aren't happy. You've now taken teachers from teaching to do everything in the world, but you want teachers to act as attendance counselors and walk out through the streets?
Mr.
When
Jackson,
do they have time to do that?
please finish your sentence.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up. Again, Newark, this is a message for my Norkers, my real Norkers in the room. We need to make sure we turn out this governor election and vote. Again, you heard my comments about Mr. Christie.
Mr. Jackson.
Let's vote.
Mr. Jackson, your time is up.
It's time to become involved. And again,
Mr. Jackson, your time is
support
up.
the kids that come up and speak out against the things that's going on in their district. Thank you.
Next speaker, Donna Jackson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The moment we've all been waiting for. What is Donna going to say today? Well, Ms. Anderson, at the next board meeting, I will be issuing my annual pink slips, and you will get the first one. Your consultants will receive the second 100, and I will continue to go down the line. And this is why. You don't have the right to continue to sit and plan to close our schools. You don't have the right to sit and decide on who's right, who's wrong, and then put people in who aren't certified, have never taught before, don't know what a school looks like, nor how to spell the name of that school, or speak to any of the children in that building. You have taken our students where I wouldn't have had a problem if it was a real plan that you and Shavar created prior to your getting here, because we have to hold all folks accountable. And unfortunately, he don't work for the board, so I can't fire him too. But at the end of the day, you created all these programs that lead to a hallway of nothing. You have told these kids, you can go to Barringer and do this, you can go to Shabazz and do that, you can go to Westside and have this program, and it's all a lie. It is so bad of a lie now, you have taken the data down. You refuse to give parents and staff test data so we can make educated decisions. You allow these charter schools to continue to come and dictate your pace, and that's fine. Because, Ms. Anderson, at the end of the day, since you love the charter schools so much and hate public schools, please take you and all of the Newark Public School employees, be clear here, because all of y'all ain't gonna be clapping, that have a kid in there or work there and go over there. Because at the end of the day, this is what's going on. People that work at Newark Public Schools, who kids go to the charter school, they got an attitude now, Ms. Anderson. And it is pervasive because of the things that have been created in this district. There are social workers who kids go to the charter schools. They're not servicing our children anymore because now the norm is, thanks to you as well, the public school kids don't mean nothing. The public school kids will never be anything, and there's no need to educate them because this is the 40% we're going to put in jail. Well, quiet as it's kept, Ms. Anderson, petition after petition, the people that work at Newark Public Schools didn't listen. They didn't join me when I rallied. They didn't join others when they rallied for the last 2 years to get your behind out of here. Now, a little bit too late, they done signed your 3-year contract. I'm going to give you $1, Ms. Anderson, at the next meeting when I terminate you, for you to leave, let the $1 million go, and go destroy North Star Team or wherever it is that you want to go. They'll pay you the same money. Take all the people, Ms. Morris, Tia Morrow, take her with you. All these positions that you've created, and I'm serious about this. Because at the end of the day, Ms. Anderson, you have decided that the parents mean nothing and the staff mean less and the kids are a can of poop to you. And at the end of the day, Ms. Anderson, in my closing remark, what I have to tell you is our kids mean everything. We will fight your ass and be ready for
Ms.
battle.
Jackson,
Yeah,
that
she
is
heard me.
out of
She
order.
heard me.
Ms.
Not taking it
Jackson,
back. She heard
that
me.
language is not allowed in here. Next speaker, Lucius Jones.
Madam Chair, just a reminder of 5 minutes, please.
Absolutely.
Board members, Lucius Jones, 107 Ivy Street, Newark, New Jersey. You know, I'm a graduate of Barringer High School. I went to Barringer Prep, and I feel as if I got a quality education. Several years ago, in the late 90s, early 2000s, I took a position, and the position was that I was going to fight for my kids and do a lot of things. Some things I felt good about, some things I didn't. But I learned from that experience. I had an opportunity. I fought with former Superintendent Marion Bolden. We thought it was a horse race. She had plan A, I had plan B, C, and D. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars back and forth in court. Arson can give you the details of that later, Ms. Anderson. The point is this. What I learned from Ms. Bolden was about pride and dignity. And that's the pride and dignity when I went to Barringer and went to public schools in Newark. I chose to put my kids in public schools. And I chose to fight for my kids, my nieces, and my nephews that go to public schools. You know, I come here today to talk about the climate. The climate is so bad. It's not just at this board meeting, but it's a reflection of this board meeting of what's happening out in the schools and in the classrooms. I know you think the principals and the social workers and all these folks can do it all without the support of central office. But I tell you right now, they can't do it all if we don't work together or you don't work together as a team. To go after the unions, for example, and tell the unions that because they didn't support your race to the top funds, that you're going to just pick on them or you're going to do things to make their jobs more difficult. It's no secret. Principals are talking about it, the PLI meetings that they attend, all over this district and your directive. And what I want to say to you, who does it really hurt? It really hurts the students in the classroom. It really hurts the parents who have to send their kids to these schools. Because, Ms. Anderson, what happens when the teachers decide, for example, one particular school has 40 staff members, and 37 teachers have decided to go to the convention, but the school is open. So when the students show up and the teachers are not there, that's a problem. That is a major, major problem when you don't have adequate staff to cover those students that parents have dropped them off and went to work. You can put your foot on the staff neck all you want, but the point of it is they got personal days, they got this day. They can take whatever option they need to take, even take the option to say, I'm willing to do it for the principal. So I'm going to say I think that it's not in the district's best interest to antagonize the staff. It's not in the district's best interest to say we're going to do it in the best interest of children, and when we know that the climate and the tone in which you're doing it is hurtful to everyone. I also want to add that, you know, I sit here and I kind of try to want to get my thoughts together, and I sit back and I say, you know, we come here month after month and day after day. You don't listen to the advisory board. You don't listen to the people in the community. You know, and there has to be a change, and there has to be something different that gets your attention. When you look at the race between the mayor and Lonigan, the mayor only won by 11 points. That was a major message for a popular national mayor like Cory Booker. But Cory did not win with a landslide. I recommend to you that you need to take a different approach, because neither will the parents tolerate. We will not tolerate the disorder. We will not tolerate the dysfunction. We will not tolerate the climate. In closing, Ms. Anderson, there was a friend of mine, Louisa Wibbin, that if you had to lay her off, you lay her off. But to give her an hour to get out the building, that is so inhumane. That really tore me to the core, especially when your colleagues, when your boyfriend attacked me, asked me to give you a courtesy. Thank you very much.
Next speaker, Kalina Barryman.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I stand here as a proud Newark Public Schools graduate of Arts High School, a member of the Coalition for Effective Newark Public Schools, in full support of the Our Schools, Our Vision campaign outlined by the students. One reason I support them is very obvious. They are my kids. But I've watched them work tirelessly over the last 5 months to create their vision. After a careful analysis of their schools, this is their call for equity. I know equity is a very unpopular word these days, but it is the difference. The historical lack of equity is the true problem plaguing our schools, and what has resulted in a 3-tiered system of education in Newark. A system that, however well-intentioned the world's best cadre of vendors, consultants, and contingency workers can be, they cannot address without a deeply rooted love for justice, equality, and Newark's children. There are far too many people getting rich off of our kids, while our kids cannot graduate from this school system and get good jobs. We have to change that. For instance, allegedly, some schools do not have full-time art and music teachers on staff, some have half-time, and some don't have these subjects at all. Board members, how can you not make a big fuss about that? As a graduate of Arts High School, I cannot imagine elementary and middle schools without art and music. But we have lists of contingency workers being paid millions of dollars to do whatever they're being paid to do. Do none of them know art and music? The motto is attend today, achieve tomorrow. But I think our real motto should be equity today, achieve tomorrow. That is the key to academic excellence. Research shows that being college ready is much more than passing the HESPA. College readiness means helping students create a vision for their life and helping them develop skills such as reasoning, writing, problem solving, social analysis, and time management. The Our Schools, Our Vision campaign is a great example of that. However, our children in the Youth Media Symposium have not been engaged in the process. They've been in front of this board and in front of this district and in front of their teachers over and over again for the past 6 years, and they have yet to be called to the table on their own until most recently by Ms. Tia Morris, and I do commend her for that. But they've been shut out just like we've been shut out. Now I want to just, to close, let you know something about Ramsey High School. Ramsey High School offers 16 college AP courses. They have over 100 extracurricular activities. They have 5 guidance counselors for 900 children. Why? Because they are preparing children for excellence. So board members, I have something for you. I have the Ramsey High School College Readiness Plan. It's the plan that all suburban schools are using. I advise you to advocate sternly for that. I love what's happening at Barringer and at our high schools, but it's not enough. I graduated
Ms.
from Newark.
Berryman, please finish up.
I graduated from Newark from Arts High School in the year of 2000, and I was not prepared for college. I took remedial classes in college.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
I was
Berryman.
6 in my class. So I hope that the board will take those suggestions, and I'll leave it with Ms. Merritt. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Ronnie Kellum. Next speaker, Lyndon Brown. Next speaker, Willie Rowe. Wilhelmina Holder.
Good evening to the board.
Good evening.
Wilhelmina Holder, and I certainly hope that you will take into consideration what Ms. Berriman's indicated to you to step up, and I asked you to do that at the last meeting as well. I want to bring something to your attention. Again, we're asking for the information that we offered, and some of our responses have been denied, some have not been answered at all, and that is we are looking for the graduation rate for the last 3 years of the high school students, and particularly the special needs students. We want to know by classification exactly what their numbers are in terms of graduating on a school-by-school basis, especially at Barringer and Newark Vocational. Those two schools in particular, the last 3 years. We'd like to have that data. Also, we'd like to know what college readiness really means. Right now, as a tutor and a co-founder of an academic support program, and a lot of the children come to the library, it looks like it's in words only, because when we take children to the college fair and the other events that we expose them to, we have to do a lot of the prep work that the counselors are not doing because they don't have counselors or don't know who they are. And this is a criminal incident because a lot of these youngsters are seniors. Did you hear what I said? Seniors that never took an SAT. That's taking it now, November, for the first time ever. And they've been in Newark Public Schools for the last 3 years. And it's not just at the comprehensive schools that this is occurring. It's occurring across the board, including the charter schools, who seem to have the least amount of information, at least that's timely for the students. We need a directive of guidance. A lot of opportunities are being missed, as the youngsters themselves found out when they went with us to Nassau Coliseum, to the college fair, and they sat in a workshop. I was so proud of them. But they were so upset on the bus, we had to calm them down because they said to me, we are not getting the right information at our school buildings in terms of college readiness and what it takes to be prepared. And fortunately, we were able to expose them. I want to know what the district is doing preparing the children also for the park, the new assessment that's being rolled out. How are we prepared in each of these buildings? Is the technology ready? Such as Ramsey High School, I spoke to the director of guidance there. Actually, I went there myself. We met with him when he came here recently. And they are indeed preparing their children. Each student has an iPad. There's a smart board in every room. The teachers are being prepared now. They're working with the parents. There's no workshops going on in Newark. There's professional development is sketchy, especially with consultants. Excuse me, you're not calling them that now, right? Especially with the whatever they're being called. But we need people on the ground who are employees, who are connected to this district, who understand the needs of the children. And at Benjamin Franklin, I'd like to know also about the after-school program, and not just at Benjamin, at 13th Avenue and the other schools. How are the children picked? Because there are only 70 slots, and not every parent was notified of the after-school program. And also the SLCs are not functioning the way they should be, and I know you say that you're going through changes, but the community and the parents aren't involved in that process.
Ms.
Unfortunately,
Holder,
you got
if
rid
could
of Ms.
please
Wibbins,
finish
who
up.
did train the parents, and also there's no parent coordinator at Benjamin Franklin. Come walk with me, honey, because I'm good today. I'm good today. I walked 3 miles this morning. Come walk with me now, too.
Ms. Holder,
but there's no parent,
please finish up.
there's
Your
no
time is
parent
up.
coordinator at Benjamin Franklin as well. So we need to deal with these issues.
Ms. Holder, I
the
need you to
district
finish up,
step-
please.
I need the district to step up, and I need the board to really step up and meet with us parents and community on these issues and share the data.
Thank you,
or
Ms.
we
Holder.
will have to get new board members.
Next speaker, Asamad Harvell. Next speaker, Janice Reedus. Next speaker, Sean Williamson.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
My name is Sean Williamson, 56 South 14th Street, Newark, New Jersey. The guy that, Lyndon Brown, he wasn't able to make it today because his car was stolen. He gave me a few things to say. If I could get a couple of extra minutes to speak of the issues that...
No, I'm sorry, the 3 minutes is for everyone.
All right, well, my first line of business is, first off, there's a different rule now about the kids can't choose what high school they want to go to. I have a daughter that's in the 8th grade, and she wants to attend one of the high school's arts science part. And before, we used to take a test, be accepted, and the students is able to choose what school they want to go to. What is this that they have to file online now, and somebody chooses what school they're going to go to? This doesn't make sense to me. I need to know this information ASAP because she's in the 8th grade and she's graduating this year, and I need to know how to get my daughter into the right high school that she want to go to. Also, we was having a little problems at 13th Avenue School trying to get security, the crossing guards, because it's unsafe on 12th Avenue and 10th Street. And the school got in touch with the police department, and there's still no guards there. These kids are running up and down the street, crossing the street in between the green. We need some help, and as the board, could we, get somebody to try to get these policemen to get us some crossing guards on 12th Ave and 8th and 9th Street? Also, we where is it at? We like to talk about school, the school grades, the progress reports. Some kids are not getting it. I was also told that some of the bilingual students, they're not having teachers that can teach them in their language. They have to learn in English, and they're not learning it fast enough, so they're not understanding what's going on. We need to have this checked out so we can have proper teachers teaching the proper students so they can learn in an efficient time. I guess that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Muriel Brown.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Cammie Anderson, the board members, the educational staff, and all supporters, and definitely parents. I'm representing the Coalition for Effective Schools. Before I get into one of my main questions is this. Parents, you are your child's first teacher. We have to now, okay, because I used to teach at 13th Avenue, but the situation is this. We have to now go door to door, getting our parents to get involved, all right? We have to do better. We can talk to the board, but we got to hit the streets.
Would you please address the dais?
Okay, excuse me.
Would you please address the dais?
Okay,
Thank you.
dais, we have to hit the streets. We are talking to you tonight, but we need to definitely get our parents involved so that they can be their child's first educators and advocates, okay? Because everybody else is advocating, but we need the parents here. My question to you is, has the Newark Board of Education hired Acelero as a consultant? Has the Newark Board of Education hired Acelero as a consultant? Has the Newark Board of Education hired Acelero as a consultant? Thank you.
Thank you. Velda Morris.
Good evening. My name is Velda Morris, from 889 South 20th Street, Newark, and I have two questions. My first question for the board is, what is in place for students' transcripts of schools that have been closed, one of the Newark Public Schools? What is in place? And the reason I ask is, I'm the parent of 4 Newark Public School graduates. My last Newark Public School graduate had the opportunity to have a $140,000 college scholarship. But because he went to a school that was closed by Newark Public School, which was AVC, he lost his opportunity to go to Alabama State University, Stephen F. Austin University, Delaware State University, and the University of West Alabama. Why? Because I called Cedar Street and asked, who do I speak to get his transcript changed from what they had listed Montgomery Street School. My child never attended Montgomery Street School. He went to AVC. The NCAA told me that Newark Public School would have to answer. We called from May to August. August 1st was the deadline for my child to receive that scholarship. I received an answer back from Newark Public School after August 5th. To make a long story short, my child went to school in Texas. He had to go to a community college because he lost those scholarships. I don't want this to happen to another child. So children, I don't care what Newark Public School they go to, Newark Public Schools should register with the NCAA. You don't know what potential these children have. The second question that I have for you is, for the record, is there a partnership between Acelero Learning Center and Newark Public Schools? I know I'll probably not get the answer because I've heard many people ask questions and there's no answer, but I want that on the record. The other thing is, our children have all types of potential. It's important that the superintendent and the advisory board realize that our children have all types of potential.
Thank you. Next speaker, Devon Horton. Is it Devon or Devon?
Devon. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Devon Horton from the Coalition for Effective Schools. The last two speakers did not get an answer, but my first question is, what is the relationship between the Newark Public Schools and Acelero? I see a lot of smiling, heard a lot of talk about who's going to plow the snow, but I'm asking a very simple question. Is there an answer? Is there a relationship, or is it not one? Well, did you guys give them a letter of support to take over the Head Start grant here in the city of Newark? Because it's no secret, Newark Public Schools collaborates with various Head Start agencies here in the city of Newark that have been around since the 60s. What will happen with us, with the Head Start here in Newark? Not only do we collaborate, we share data. If you're in a relationship with Acelero, the competition who knows nothing about Newark, did you share our data with them? Counselor, can you speak to that? That is a legal issue, wouldn't you think?
We don't respond directly to any of the inquiries. It's not out of disrespect. That's just the protocol.
So you don't answer questions, is what you're saying? Okay, so therefore, disrespectful. If you did, you had a chance to clear yourself. If not, see you in court, baby.
That ends our public participation for this evening. Just for the record, it is our policy that we do not answer questions, but anyone who would give us a copy of your questions, if you email them to any board member, we would happy to be to follow up, make sure that your questions are answered. In addition to that, notes are taken at the meeting and follow-up is done as appropriate. At this time, we will move on to old and new business.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to
Yes, Mr. Hassan.
advise that while attending the New Jersey School Boards Association convention today in Atlantic City, I was advised by one of the board members from the Orange School District that they have in fact provided their fellow board members with a copy of the resolution that we passed at our August board meeting in regards to the changes the SDA and New Jersey Department of Education has proposed for emergent repair projects, and they will be voting on that resolution in support of us passing that resolution. They will be doing that at the upcoming school board meeting, and I would also like to advise this board and the public that I received notification today that we have received approval for project eligibility costs for 5 emergent projects here within the district, and these are for masonry repairs at 5 of the school districts here in the city of Newark. And the approval for these project eligibility costs is over $10 million. So just want to say that I know there are a lot of issues, obviously, with the facilities, our school board. The district office and the facilities team is really working hard behind the scenes to try to get a lot of these issues addressed. So just wanted to kind of provide everybody with the update on that.
Thank you for that update. Just for the public knowledge, at our business meeting, which takes place 1 week prior to this regular meeting, each committee does give detailed reports. So what Mr. Hassan was doing is basically updating us on information that was more recently received. Thank you. Is there anyone else old and new business?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Lewis.
One of the speakers spoke about the NJEA convention that the teachers attend. Can we just get an update on what's going on with that? What's the process? Because I know usually this was implemented in our calendar. So if the district could just let us know as a district, as a board, what's the new procedures that have been put in place that the board haven't been given the detail about?
So what was the process then for teachers who wanted to go this year to the convention?
If I could just comment, I mean, no one is, as I understand it, Madam Superintendent, no teacher is being denied the opportunity to go to the NJEA convention. We really can't talk about this because this is a matter of anticipated and threatened litigation by the union. So I would just defer to that. We can have conversations offline.
If council will stop me, but we did on several occasions send out clear instructions, which I would not have a problem forwarding, telling folks what to do. Unfortunately, those instructions were countered by other instructions that are not appropriate, hence the confusion. But ours have been consistent and clear, and I would have no problem forwarding that to the board if folks would like it.
But again, no teacher is being denied the opportunity to go to the convention.
Of course not.
We can't further comment on this because it's a matter of litigation.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to know if we could set up a meeting possibly with a few board members, or Madam Chair, I want to go through you, since we couldn't have a safety committee, if we could have a hearing on public safety in our schools, because there's so many incidents that's going on in our schools over the past weeks. On my way here to the board meeting, I actually had to break up a fight with West Side students, which happened a block away from the school around 4:15. So I wanted to know from
our director of security, what is the protocol put in place for the security detail after school? Because I know Westside don't get out until about 4 o'clock. So what is the measures, like what area, square area do they coverage? Because this happened right a block away from the school. So I think that it's time now, because of so many incidents that happened in the district, especially when we had last year a child who was actually stabbed by one of our schools, that we need to have a hearing, a public hearing on safety in this district, so that we can ensure the safety of all our children and our staff members.
Okay, so, Mr. Lewis, I'm hearing two things. One is public hearing on safety, and the other is information that you want on, is it Westside High School, in reference to what areas are covered by security?
Well, from the director, if we could get, the layout of his security plans for all schools, but the reason why I singled out Westside is because of the incident I single-handedly witnessed today, jumping out my car, breaking up a fight between, male students. But what is the procedures as far as our safety from school? How far from the school do our security detail actually cover? Do we have because I know we have partnership with the police department. Where do they cover? Because this would happen a block from the school. There was no one in sight, only 2 security guards who actually ran a block down to try to squash the situation.
Okay, so, Mr. Lewis, I have both of those issues, and I think that the hearing on public safety would probably be best taken up maybe in constituent services committee. We can have further discussion on that, as well as getting a review of those policies shared with the board members. So those 2 separate things, one not dependent upon the other one. Okay, we can get both. We can discuss both and how to move forward on both of those.
Yes.
Other new business, Ms. Mathias?
I just had one follow-up, and this might be for council, just the information on Acelero that I requested before, and also for superintendent, when we'll get the achievement data for 12-13. Yeah, 12-13.
I think that they're asking Ms. Mathias that you speak up for the record. It may not have gone.
Apologies. The achievement data for 12-13 and a follow-up on the information for Acelero Learning.
As previously stated, the achievement data will be in the form of the school snapshots with some of the adjustments based on the feedback of this board by the end of October. I believe the K-8s are being rolled out now. We shared with Madam Chair also, every school is having a meeting with families to share the data and understand them, so we will also make sure everyone gets copies of when those meetings are to occur. Once the K-8s are done, the high schools will be done, but I believe that we're on track. It may push till the first week of November, and be aware that those will not be fully complete, because remember, we don't get SGP until December, but the first round will be done by the end of the first week of November, and each school has already scheduled a meeting to review those with families, and those schedules have been set.
I'm sorry, Ms. Mathias, were all of your questions answered?
Yes, I think that maybe through our committee we can make some suggestions to go a little deeper.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else old and new business at this time? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move it. Lewis.
Second, Hassan.
Second, Mr. Hassan.
Second, Hassan. All in favor, motion adjourned.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Good night.